There's a place I have found in the shade on the ground.
Welcome to the Permaculture Vine podcast, episode 4. And today I have Colin Crawshaw, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
On the line, Colin, would you just like to introduce yourself, please?
Right, as you said, I'm Colin Crawshaw. I live in Switzerland, but originally born in England, and I am extremely thankful for this chance to have a chat with you. Looking forward to it. Yeah. And my wife and I, Claudia, we've been living on our farm, Paradischi, Driesta, in 2 weeks' time, it'll be a year since we've definitely known we're coming here. Yeah.
Very good. I'm looking forward to hearing all about the farm. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it.
It's Paradischi Driesta, right? And my wife, she comes from the place called Bündnerland in Switzerland, and it's a game of words. It's paradise, and here in Wallis, where we live, in the slang that they have, Ishi means ours. So it's the game. It's our paradise, and Driesta is the name of the hill. And it's been named like that for at least 500 years that we know. And Driesta means fallen land. So it's more or less been fallen. Well, that's the name of the land. And before we took it over, it's been fallen for 40 years. Is fallen the right word? Unused land that's been sleeping. In German, it's called Brachland.
Is it barren? Barren lands, maybe?
Or farren or fallow or something
fallow.
Like that.
Yeah,
fallow, that's it.
Fallow,
Yeah.
that's it. So you have a permaculture farm now. Let's just start where you are now. You have a permaculture farm. Do you want to tell us your story about basically when you first heard of permaculture, and then just tell us your journey towards getting a farm?
Yeah, well, it was about 4 years ago. I was looking into, what are solutions? And permaculture kept popping up. And then 3 years ago, nearly 3 years ago now, beginning of Corona, I was asked to join in a global Switch on Global Telethon, which was a telethon all around the world. And with some kindie artists, and there was a lot about permaculture there. So I heard a lot more about that then. And then everything happening in Corona and everything, I had a lot of time to really dive in deep into it. And so I did. I went right down the rabbit hole, and I've probably watched everything. That's why it's so refreshing to have new people like yourself. So I've got new things to watch. What everything in YouTube about there is to know. And then my wife, she was the boss of 39 restaurants and had 500 employees. So we didn't see each other much. So we got to the point where I said, well, it's time for us to do something for ourselves and do something to change the world. Because it was like, outside's gloomy, yeah? It's really gloomy, and you need a reason to get up every day. So we thought, that's it. So we went looking. We knew where we wanted to be in Switzerland. We went looking, and one day, cut the story short, we got lost on the hillside, and we came down a cliff, swearing at each other. It was awful. It was really one of those moments where you just know who. And then we found this place with a bedsheet hanging out for sale. It wasn't in the internet. It wasn't anywhere, and we're 800 meters above sea level. We've got no access roads, but the hiking path goes right through us, right through our land, yeah? And with my wife coming from the restaurant business, we're now doing from field to table. We've got a bar. As of Easter, we're doing food. I'm sat in our guest house now because we've got 11 buildings. We've got 14 acres of land. And yeah, that was maybe one more story about getting to this farm. When I met Claudia, she was my boss. I was just working as a barman, just earning some money. So I thought, oh, she's nice. I'll sleep with my boss. Maybe I'll get a career. And then I ended up on the mountain, all the way to the top.
all the way to the top, literally. Very good. So you're working as a barman in Switzerland. you met your partner, and then
Yeah.
during Corona, delving deep into permaculture. So he's decided then to get the farming. Something me and my wife are going through at the minute is like, so right, how do we make our next step? We're moving house, and especially right, we want to get on the land as well. How was that process with your partner of saying, right, this is what we want to do? And because I know it causes, sorry, it causes, how do you come to that arrangement? Like, it's like, how do you make sure you're both on the same page?
Well, from the beginning, I mean, that's one of the things that brought us together. We had similar ideals, similar goals. Claudia's also vegan, so that's a big topic because I just don't like olives, but the rest I'll eat. That's one topic, especially with farming. But for us, it was both clear it's time for us to do something for ourselves. We've come together, we found a way. She was thinking about tiny house. I was thinking about farming. So yeah, and then we just decided that's it. The harder part was telling our family about it because they all thought we were crazy. But one thing we've really noticed, I've always been entrepreneurial Del Boy, kind of just take it as it comes. But she's with her being in the manager role, she's always been very structured. Yeah. So one of the biggest difficulties for her is coming into the chaos. And what I've now found for myself is permaculture is also bringing structure into chaos. So we're helping each other find a way. She's bringing a bit of structure. Sometimes she gets lost. Sometimes I get lost in the chaos. So she comes and picks me up with the structure. You know, that kind of way around. Yeah. So that's, but it was a decision that we made together. You've got to make it together. Yeah. Because you've always got each other to help you out and bail you out. So yeah.
Funny enough, that's the same with me. Our dynamic as well. My wife's very structured. I'm very chaotic. It's just, and it's sort of temper, but I'm getting better now at tempering and focusing that energy, which has sort of helped with Vine and sort of having to meet deadlines and get all the stuff done. So I suppose then your backgrounds with your entrepreneurial, your wife's management background, that was a very good skill set you had coming into farming. So it was like you already had that background. A lot of people come from the idealistic side of, yes, I want to go and grow myself, I want to go on the farm, but they don't have that. They have to learn all these skills.
Yeah, so that's it. Well, over the years, I mean, I've been entrepreneurial and doing this, that, and everything. I did a lot of gardening to survive, because you can always go and help a gardener. They always need help, so you can always earn some money on the side with gardening. I've worked for vegetable gardeners, and at the age of 16, I actually wanted to become a farmer, but I was told that we don't farm anymore. We need electricians. So my apprenticeship back in the day was being an electrician. So yeah, but one thing I did, I am doing as well. While I decided, just coming with permaculture alone it's kind of spaced out and esoteric sometimes. People think that's what people think. So I also go to school now once a week, and I'm doing the farmer school. So I'm actually getting my official farmer license here in Switzerland as well, together with the whole thing, to bring in a little bit.
That's where I was going next. So the permaculture, you're self-taught, just the University of YouTube, just which is excellent amount of free resources out there. And it's great today. You don't need qualifications or courses. You can just get up and do it, learn it on YouTube, go out and apply it. So do you want to take me back to the step then when you got the farm and you're looking at 14 acres and how you decided, right, what they focus on, even if that's people care, self-care, right? How do we do this without getting stressed out, or how do we just get money coming in and cash flowing basically?
Yeah, well, the first thing I had to realize, and I think it's best for everybody to realize who's got a vision, you're never going to be finished. Right? Whatever you do, you're never going to finish it, because you're always going to have a new vision, and it's always going to be, I could do that next time, I could do this. Because if you're always learning, if you're constantly conscious of what you're doing, you're never finished. Yeah, because you could always be better. I mean, that's like getting up every day. You could always be a bit nicer than yesterday. Yeah. So that's the first thing you got to learn. You're never going to be finished. And then one thing you said in your webinar about starting the lunchtime learning time, you said about starting from zones and going expand, or was that I think that was in the video, but that's a very important lesson in permaculture. Start from the base and go out gradually, because I mean 14 acres, yeah, I could go up on the hill and start up there, but it's going to take me half an hour to get there every morning and then half an hour back every morning. So I don't do that. I've been there. I walk through it daily and have a look, or not a daily, but once a week I try to walk through. But you come back to the basics, because I'm also, like yourself, a lazy gardener. I heard you say you're a lazy gardener. Oh, you couldn't get as lazy as me, but things have to be done. You know what I mean? It's so. And then another important thing for me is it's got to feel good. Everybody says if you don't feel resistance, it's not worth doing. But if you don't feel resistance, you're having fun doing it. Yeah, because there's a shitload to do every single day, and it doesn't stop, and it's overwhelming. So sit back, think, watch, and what feels good, that's the right thing to do at that moment, because you're only going to do something good anyway. Otherwise, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So,
and
so
you're
playful, never being finished, but start from the beginning.
And what did you start with?
There's a few things. It was very dry, so I had to start with the water. We've got streams, so gradually I'm digging the water, bringing the water from the stream through the land. That's one basic thing, the water, because without water, there's no life. So that's one thing I do. And every time it's raining, I'm out there playing with dirt. It's mucking around and digging holes and slowing it down and swales and where does it run. And then there's a lot of cleaning up to do here, because with it being fallow and no water, there's a lot of dead wood. So everywhere I'm climbing over trees. So that was one part, cutting it up. But I need that for heating, and I need it for making. And then I've got my veg gardens. So the first thing I've done there is, with all the dead wood, I've just made hedges out of dead wood. And then we decided we needed trees. So we did a crowdfunding, and we organized ourselves 174 trees, which are planted. And then we also realized we need to make money. So I started building a bar, because we're on the hiking path, like I said. So every hiker that goes past can stop off and have a drink. Now, we have to fly once a month with the helicopter to get our stuff here. So all our removal, all our furniture was in a box, in a wooden crate. And that wooden crate, I asked to be designed that way. I then turned one of the crates into the bar, and one of the crates into a chicken pen, because the first animals we got were chickens and cats to keep away the mice. So yeah, from there on, we're just step by step building up there. Yeah. So, and I'm digging where I want my bar. I'm digging out. I dug out the dirt. So with that dirt, I made the terrace, because the bar needs somewhere to sit. So it's all just one after the other.
Yeah, so you mentioned the chickens there. I seen in your video that Joe the chicken. Sorry, how do you mention it?
Yeah, well, actually, that's good that you said that, because probably our YouTube channel was the first thing we actually did. Actually, before, as soon as it was clear we're going to be moving there, it was all handshake, and the first thing we did was start our first video from our permaculture channel, Paradischi Driesta, so we could document it. That's our way of documenting. And every week when we watch our video, or the one in English is every other week, every other Wednesday, there's an English video. But that's like our feedback. That's our reflection. What have we done? I can always look back a year and see what's evolved. And that also gives me a confirmation of it's not just hard work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our chicken. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's
Our
often hard.
chicken
It's often hard to see the process when you just see the incremental. Sorry, your chickens.
yeah, Joe, our first cock is we every morning one of the first things I do is I let him out, and he attacks me every morning. That's his first thing. That's his ritual in the morning. Attack Colin. But the thing is, I've thought about butchering him because I mean you don't want aggressive animals, but he's actually survived a predator bird. He actually beat up the bird, so he survived that. So we've decided to keep him because here in Switzerland we've got the bird flu at the moment, so all chickens are locked in. But as soon as the bird flu goes away, I'm going to expand to 150 chickens and have them spread out all over the land. And so Joe will be going up to the top of the hill where I'm going to be checking once every 3 days, and he can look after the chickens up there, because if anybody can look after his chickens, it's Joe. So, but I better take him away from the path because it's no good there.
So you're actually you're observing nature and you're making choices based on nature, and that's his temperament, and you're using it to your advantage, which is a good thing.
I mean, that's permaculture. That's what I learned. I mean, that's permaculture. Everything you do should have at least 3 to 10 uses, and you should be always thinking. I mean, everything can be shit. It's very easy to think everything's bad and everything's negative, but if you look at it positively, everything's got a reason. Yeah, it's all big picture thinking in the smallest micro scales. That's permaculture. Isn't it great?
Yeah, I love it. I'm an engineer by background. I like the systems approach to it. It's like you have your chickens beside your garden, and creating these systems that benefit and bringing out the best in nature.
Yeah,
for our benefit and for nature's benefit as well.
Yeah.
So the crowdfunding, do you want to talk about that, just to anybody who's thinking of doing a crowdfunding for their own property, about the process of that and how you went about it?
Yeah, well, there's some great crowdfunding platforms out there. So it's always best to choose the one that suits you best. And we chose We Make It here in Switzerland. And our idea was, well, we need trees, but I mean, trees cost a lot of money. So what we're going to do about it? But it's also, planting trees is something that's anybody can do. So what we thought is, everybody who plants a tree has a right to have a third of that harvest of that tree if they want. They can come up and it belongs to them. They can have a third of that harvest, and we'll look after it. But they'll pay for it. Yeah,
fair deal.
And plus, they're also knowing they've got a good conscience because they've planted another tree. Yeah. So we set our goal, we not too high. We said that we want 100 trees. 100 trees is a good place to start. And we worked out how much we're going to need roughly. So we thought we roughly thought we need 5,000 Swiss francs. So we put out our video. We asked for 5,000 francs. And in the end, we got 5,200 francs. The firm that we got our trees from gave us a load of packages and goodies and deals, and we ended up with 174 trees and shrubs. But every single one of them has got something edible to them: berries, nuts, peaches, and then some of them are prickly, some of them are soft, some of the So we've got, and with a maximum 2 of the same. Yeah. Because then we're now with 2 of the same, 174. So that's roughly about 82 different varieties of bushes, nuts, and fruits. And the ones that we see survive are the ones that we're going to multiply.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. I did watch a video there. You only lost 2.
Well, recently a gardener just came up here, and the stems have still got some juice in them. So maybe they'll survive, but to be honest, we weren't sure about them anyway, because one's a blood mandarin, so it's exotic, and one's a lemon, which again is not typically known for Swiss snow mountains. So yeah, they're on our sun terrace. So, but yeah, Yeah, I mean, 2 trees. I mean, since then we've also bought 200 more shrubs for wild hedges. Also, most of them edible. And yeah, so we've planted 374 trees and shrubs up to now, and at two, even if the two die, even if I can't save them, it's not bad.
That
All I
no,
can say is
that's
thank
good.
you.
Well over you're nearly at what 90, 98, 99% there, which is
I
quite
mean,
high.
and
And
you can't say much than thank you for that, can you?
no, especially when you're on the side of a mountain as well. You're
Yeah, but well, I
it,
mean, like I said, we've got 300 days of sun, so we're not. It's like being in the south of Italy or something.
right. So you get the plenty of light.
Yeah,
Which again, Mike, everybody's climate's different.
that's it. And everyone's land's different, and we're also lucky because before the last 40 years, like I said, it's been fallow, but before that, the family that were living up here lived up here for 500 years.
Wow.
So all our land we've got massive stone walls. We've got 11 buildings that can be renovated, but we've also got like 4 ruins that are maybe even older than 500 years. We never know, but so it's all the infrastructure is here so all we need to do is do regenerative farming. We just need to reactivate what they were doing 500 years ago. So I've got that little bit of an advantage. Yeah.
And what's your so how do you so your farm now so you mentioned a number of enterprises there on it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend one that someone should do straight away to get that cash flowing, whether it be CSA gardening or the eggs or
As many things as possible, as quickly as possible. We also go to the market once a week. I've still got my hobby being a clown, singing and dancing clown on the side. We did in the beginning, we had jobs on the side, but we realized we can't do that because we've got to go all in, but otherwise we're just burning the candle at both ends. But again, permaculture taught me everything has to have 7 usages. So if you've got 7 income channels, all good. Yeah. Every little bit helps.
yeah.
Every little bit helps, but don't and plus I also a strong believer. We found this land, we got given this land, the universe, I believe in the flow of the universe, and it's given me something so good. Why would it take it away from me? So I've got to believe constantly, because I mean the bills are piling up, the stress is there, the trees cost money, but let's just trust the process, right? You don't want to pick the apple before it's grown. You trust the process of the apple tree. So trust the process, but think of as many channels as possible.
Yeah. So
Today,
basically,
yeah,
they encourage diversity of income, where permaculture encourages diversity.
yeah,
And I suppose as permaculture too, you have to obtain a yield. It's there, the 12 principles,
yeah,
which to me is a profit that you can reinvest back in the land and yourself. And then
yeah.
that ties into earth care, people care, and you're not exploiting anybody, no slave labor.
No,
So it's
no,
it's that it's
no.
that it's ethical, it's moral, and you're earning a living.
That's
Um,
it.
something I have had a few comments on. I had to even block people on Instagram before. It's basically on different things when you mention about business and permaculture, earning money in permaculture. But me, the two, it's your responsibility to make it profitable, because for permaculture to spread and all this, the regeneration of land to take place, we need people on the land earning a living from it. And that's the reality of it, because you can't do it for free. There's no you can't go for government handouts. You can't ask anybody else to pay you to do it. You have to do it yourself.
Well, I mean, if you got the time to go for government funding or special places that give funding, I mean, there is more and more things encouraging it, and there's more and more people who've got no time because they've got enough money, but you need the time to find that as well. Yeah. And also, I mean, like you say, who's paying the trees? I mean, it's empty in there. Love and light is great. Love and light is really important. I mean, positivity, but let's be honest, yeah, the government's not going to say stop paying taxes just because you're now a permaculturist, are they? They're still going to ask for you. And then if you're doing a job on the side, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do both. So I've got to know. But say, this being slagged off. Do you know Permies.com?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Wheaton, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was I listened to a talk he gave one day, and he's got two platforms. He's got the Permies and he's got a programmer platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says the Permies gets attacked a lot more and slagged off a lot more than the programming platform. And that's because when you're doing good things, people try to stop it. And I mean, if we went back outside to our system, does our system really want regenerative things?
It needs them.
It needs them, but does it want it? Because then we come back to the bad thing about money is lots of bad things happen because of money. But I'll leave it at that, because I like the positive side of life. I like it. Right. So I'm giving the access to the hikers to have something to drink on a nice summer day. I'm doing something for them, and they're helping me out by paying for that.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea.
Isn't it? Give and take.
How many people stumble through your land and go, what the hell's this doing here? I'll have a drink.
Yeah, and then we're having a drink together and we're having a chat, and they're learning about permaculture at the same time. And they maybe go home and start cutting the grass only like 3 or 4 times a year rather than 4 times a week.
Yeah. Or but I was like to get people composting. Just take care of your own waste to start with, and it's a good thing. You can find everybody has, well, not everybody. A lot of people have a wee corner tucked in the back somewhere where they can just start putting their vegetable scraps up a couple of pallets. And to me, I love composting, and I love the chickens, and then all that together, just it creates so much life in your yard. All the bugs that come in because of that, and all the good bugs, the pill bugs, they all start just bringing life to your land, which attracts, and it just starts stacking on top of that. Then it's great, and
isn't it? It's beautiful.
From looking after your own waste, your own vegetable scraps.
That's it. Yeah. And did you know if you've got like a mushroom that you really like? Yeah.
Not a big fan of mushrooms now.
Your mushroom cuttings. Yeah. If you're at home, you eat, you've got nothing to do with gardening or whatever, it doesn't matter. You take your mushroom cuttings and always put them in the same spot in the garden.
Right.
Chances are you'll have those mushrooms growing at some point in your garden. Maybe.
Yeah.
Easy. You just throw. I mean, that's a great thing about permaculture. Chop and drop. You can be messy all the time. You just chop, leave it on the floor, and let it rot.
Yep. But again, it is messy, but at the same time, it's structured and it's organized. They deliver a maximized system. So it's again, that's where personality comes in. So you have the bar, you have the do you Airbnb, is it, or you have the
I'm not quite finished with the bathroom yet. I've just got to finish the bathroom, and then we're going to be Airbnb in it. So
you have a diverse range of income. Then you have the bar, the guest house, the market garden. Is the fruit trees, are they going to be sold as well to market?
Yeah, well, what we've got solar dryers. There's a permaculture farm in the central of Switzerland. They've created a dryer box, right? And it's just got a sheet of glass, and you put it in the sun, and it dries your fruits, your herbs, your berries, whatever you want drying, or the mushrooms, and it dries them constantly just with the power of the sun, using the energy. So that way we dry all the stuff that we want to carry down, and then it's a little bit lighter because we're leaving the water up here. What we're also doing is we're going to concentrate on making oil, like from the sunflower seeds, or we're going to be growing a lot of hemp, and we're going to be using the hemp seeds making oil because that's also food, and the sunflowers. Yeah, and we're making vinegar out of old wine from the farm from the because we've got a lot of wine farmers around here. So we're going collecting old wine to turn it into vinegar.
So
Ooh,
you're adding a lot of value there. So you're taking a product that's and you're processing it, and that increases your value. So although the sweat equity goes on, that's what's like important for people to know as well, that that's something you can do. If you every time you process something, you increase its value. So if you can put a smaller bit of sweat equity in and increase its value more, it makes sense.
It's the same if you take a piece of old wood and you use it again, recycling. If you can find some usage out or the old windows, you're not necessarily making money, but you're saving money.
Yeah, and then that goes under the reusing it, the 3 hours, and you're getting a lot. I'm amazed at the amount of stuff you're doing on the farm. I think it's a really good example of diversifying your income and not relying on one thing, because I think that's, for me, and I made something important that I'm trying to do is, instead of just relying on like I work part-time, so it's like trying to, right, that's one income source, right? What's my next income source? And even and with Vine, we have the lunchtime learning. We do designs and consultations for gardeners, but then we're also developing courses for professionals. So that if you want to, like, basically our PDC to professional course is basically computer aided design and things like that. So it's like all these things, is trying to diversify. I think it's very important, especially on a small scale.
Yeah.
What you're doing is class, and there's a lot of knowledge to extract out of that to share.
Yeah, there's so many details. And well, at that point, to everybody that's watching and listening now that knows me already, please do go subscribe to Vine Permaculture. Because one day, as soon as he's got 1,000 subscribers, and while you're at it, subscribe our channel as well. As soon as we're at 1,000, we will also get income from our YouTube. So you're supporting us by subscribing to us. See?
Yeah.
And that's another thing, isn't it? And it's brilliant what you're doing. You're doing self-advertisement for your PDCs, yeah? Because anyone who listens to you and resonates to you, well, maybe the chances are, if you're living in Northern Ireland, you're going to come round to do the PDC. Yeah.
No, we don't do a PDC. That was it. It's a PDC to professional, so it's like a postgrad.
Yeah. Okay.
Getting you ready for professional work as a designer, basically. So
okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's another big issue. There's do you know water stories?
Water stories, yeah, I have heard of them.
Yeah, well, Sack, the guy who's behind Water Stories, he used to learn with he's learned with Sepp Holtz and lots of different things. And it's really, if you want to know something about there's two people that know about water, and Sack's one of them. But he also said a big thing is with permaculture, once you've got your degree, you've got your design course and everything, lots of people get stuck because they've got all this information. And it's so much and so many channels. Which channel should I choose? And that's where I come back to playful. If it feels good, do it. And don't think about it too much. You've got the knowledge. Dive in, get it started. Just do it.
Dude. Yeah. So you mentioned that about being stuck. This is the point of the show, basically, is to show people what you can do. And you don't even need a qualification. If you have knowledge, just go out and do it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for somebody to say, okay, now you can go and do that. Go and find your path. And then we're trying to interview different people from different paths. And there's a thousands of different ways you can choose to go. But as you say, if it feels right, you go with it, because that's your guts or brain. It's telling you what to do.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You have to, and that's a permaculture principle as well. Observe and accept feedback. Your stomach's telling you.
Yeah. And talk to people and tell them what you're doing. But don't listen if they're telling you you're stupid or crazy, because you're not, because it feels good to you. So that's it. Yeah. That means you're not crazy.
And don't listen to naysayers. I was much like you as well, self. No, you can't do this, you can't do that. Now it's like, I don't care. I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
And
listen, but still listen. Yeah.
You listen, observe, and choose your own path. Would you say take the positive?
Yeah.
You have to go with your own positivity, and to me, that's the way it is. And we're trying to harvest that positivity from people we interview to say, look, this is what you can do. This is like your story. People are doing it. You went up a mountain and started doing it. And that was it. That was the basically not to worry about all the problems. If you think 15 steps ahead, you'd never start.
That's it. Yeah. You know, I mean, if I thought about all the problems, I wouldn't get up in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nowhere nicer than cuddled up under your blanket. I mean,
yeah. So that's quite a trek. You just have to trek in and out then. A lot of carrying. It keeps you fit then. So what's up next for the farm? You mentioned the Airbnb there. What's your plans for the future?
Yeah, well, plans of the future. Well, yesterday we got a new donkey, training him to go to the market with me because I want to go like Gandalf, me and my donkey and my cart. We've got some pigs coming soon, 2 Alp pigs, which will be helping me dig the ponds and forage. We've got some peacocks coming who are going to be looking after our snake population. So a lot of animals growing with the animals. I'm building paths at the moment so I can carry my compost, which is right under the stables, all the way up to the market garden. Oof. And I mean, constantly trying to finish the house so I can get some movers to help me out because we all need help. But this afternoon I'm going to go pick up some more chickens.
Yeah. You can never have too much chickens.
Never have enough chickens. No. And we've also there's a building site in a village nearby that everything's going to be dug up, and there's some wild growing apples, cherries, and pears growing on the grounds. So we've asked, can we go dig them up before they take out the foundation? So we're going to pick them up as well on the way to pick up the chickens. That's today. Yeah.
Right. So you're not shy of hard work anyway, with the sound of it. So that's an important thing as well. Is like you have to do the work.
Yeah. But the only reason I'm doing the work is so that when I'm 70, I don't have to do anything more. I can just pick it off the tree.
Yeah. So the food forest. And did you get your food forest designed, or was that you did it? You planned it out yourself? Just from what you know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I've got 2 food forests. One of them's more of an orchard, right, so I can graze through it. But I designed that there because that's a hill that's not got much growing on it. But I've got water flowing through it. So the trees are there to support the hill. And then there's another part of my grounds that's already got 5 terraces. So, and that's my wild food forest. And I've also started planting potatoes in there because the orchard one, I'm just going to leave as an orchard. But it's all mixed up. But the food forest number 1, that's going to be, I'm using all 7 levels. Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, you've got the flat ground, you've got the roots, you've got climbing up the trees, you've got the shrubs, you've got the bushes, you've got the trees growing. And yeah. So.
Yeah. No, that is class. So any advice, what advice would you give someone coming into your position who's looking at 10 to 20 acres and thinking, right, will we make this move or will we not? What would you have any particular advice for them?
Do it. It's the best thing you've ever done. Get started. You're already 20 years. I mean, it's like the question, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. So let's do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, just if you want to do it, and don't worry, just go for it. If you've got 20 acres of land, whoa, go for it. And if you're not going to do it yourself, give it to someone who will.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And then in terms of the business side of it, the management side of managing your cash flow, your money in, money out, any advice that you've used that keeps the books balanced and keeps the numbers in check, if you like?
No, but if anybody's got any good ideas, please tell me.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, again, there. I mean, if you look at our stable, Booze Muse, the fencing is old fencing that I've collected off the land. The posts are old trees. use as much that's for free, because it's use as much as the land gives you, and don't be worried about it looking perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect, which makes everything perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah, and in 10 years' time, you'll have the money to make it look something en vogue. Yeah. Right now, use the money to make sure you've got enough food until your garden's grown. Yeah. Because you need to eat, you need to sleep, and you need to have fun. Yeah. Eat, sleep, and have fun. That's
that is good advice. You have to use your money wisely at the start. Don't be getting hung up on things that don't matter in the end, that you can fix down the road when you have that cash flowing and you decide to, because you just have to lay that base layer of the foundation.
Yeah.
With yourself in that foundation, and then because and as well, just lastly, people care. Have you got stressed or anything doing this? How do you look after yourself through all this working all these long hours? Is there anything?
One of the things is don't beat yourself up. Yeah. Because I always say to my wife, I really don't need your conflict, because I'm in enough conflict with myself. You know what? Because you're always in conflict. Am I doing the right thing? Am I not? But look after yourself. Treat yourself as the most important person, but at the same time, make sure everything you do is all right for everybody else. Right? There's no need to be doing illegal things. There's some things that you have to do, like I got to build my bar, but I look at the laws, and I make sure I'm doing it with a good conscience. And then, if it doesn't work out today, tomorrow it might. So don't beat yourself up. Just try and have as much fun as possible. You chose it, so that's it. Take the responsibility. Oh yeah. Always take responsibility for your actions. And if you can't take the responsibility, don't do it. That's an easy way to say it.
Yeah. Colin, I love your energy, and I love just all the stuff you've done. I think it's fantastic. You're a great example of what the reality is. It's not like that's the reality. It's hard work. You have to think of all these things, and it's thanks very much for sharing.
Oh, no, thank you for giving me a platform to just have a chat. Honestly, what you're doing as well is so important. It is, and you've got brilliant videos. I'm enjoying watching them. I'm not quite caught up because I'm quite busy outside as well. But honestly, thank you for your content. Honestly,
well, we'll definitely get you on the other podcast because we have the formal lunchtime learning. That's about like the lesson, and afterwards we just chat. You've seen that, we just chat about our own experiences. So I'd love to get you on that as well, just so you can chat to everybody else, and we can just chew the fat for an hour. And
anytime, honestly, I'd love to join in. I love your work, and honestly, I love it. I love talking about because that's it. That's the thing about beating myself up. If I don't beat myself up, I'm proud of myself. So I love talking about, do good things and talk about it. Tell the world you're doing permaculture. Take responsibility and believe in yourself. That's it. I'm up for it.
That's great. Thanks very much.
Cormac, thank you very much.
And for everybody who's listening, thank you very much for listening. And we'll basically we have our designer's kit for sale in the shop, which is vinepermaculture.com/shop. We're also releasing our PDC professional course very soon, where we're going to take you from when you graduate from a permaculture design certificate, what do you do? We're going to teach you, if you want to be a designer, digital design, client communications, things you might not think about how to communicate with a client, what's the right questions they ask to get the best for their design, digital design and mention, and then the business side of it, your web page, all this kind of stuff, your consultancy. So that's out in the next month or two. Thanks very much, Colin, again.
Thank you, Cormac. And everybody, don't forget, subscribe to vinepermaculture.com and subscribe to Paradischi.com. You're helping us out. And if you enjoyed this video, give us some thumbs up. Yeah.
I always forget they say all that stuff.
That's why I thought I'd join in.
Hey,
Right.
join on.
Hey,
That's
see you
great.
later, Cormac.
Thanks, Colin.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thank you.
By myself, only me. No one can guess what I came there to see.